Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into the really enigmatic world of Hermes Trismegistus.
Yes, a figure wrapped in layers of history and myth.
Absolutely. We'll be sifting through some fascinating ancient texts, recovered information actually, trying to uncover the wisdom attributed to him.
It's a deep well.
It really is. Our mission, basically, is to get a handle on who Hermes might have been, the sheer scope of what he supposedly taught, and, why he still pops up as this major, if mysterious, figure.
And themes like immortality and secret knowledge are key here, definitely.
Right at the heart of it.
And it's interesting because Hermes isn't usually seen as just one guy, historically speaking. More like a synthesis, a blend of ancient wisdom traditions.
A polymath figure, almost.
Exactly, touching everything from medicine to, well, what they called magic back then. We're diving into the claims, the allegories, and the sources, things like the divine Pymander, the Hermetic tablets, recovered info, trying to grasp their historical weight, how people understood them, rather than us trying to say if they were literally true.
Gotcha. It's about the impact and the philosophy.
Precisely.
So, to really feel that impact, let's maybe start with a scene described in the sources. Picture this ancient initiation. Thunder, lightning, the temple veil itself apparently torn top to bottom. The initiator raises this jeweled wand, points into the darkness revealed between two huge columns, and cries out, "Behold the light of Egypt." Then this luminous haze fills the air, shimmering particles everywhere. They call it the secret luminance of the mysteries.
The source of which is only known to the master of the light.
Exactly. And then he appears.
Hermes himself.
Yeah. Through this mist, a figure surrounded by this kind of flickering greenish light, larger than mortal, they say.
And partly transparent. You could see his heart and brain.
That's what the sources claim, yeah. Pulsating, radiant. And then, incredibly, the heart changes into an ibis, the brain into a flashing emerald.
Whoa. That's highly symbolic.
Right. And he's holding this winged rod, the one with the serpents coiled around it.
The caduceus.
The initiator then cries out, "All hail thee, Hermes, Christ greatest! All hail thee, Prince of Men! All hail thee who standeth upon the head of Typhon!"
Typhon, the monster.
That's the one. Just then, this hideous dragon appears, part serpent, crocodile, hog, spewing flames, horrible noises, classic symbol of chaos, basically.
The thing wisdom needs to overcome.
Exactly. And Hermes doesn't flinch. He strikes it with his staff. Typhon falls. Flames die out. Hermes puts his foot right on its skull.
A clear victory of order over chaos.
And then, poof, in a blaze of glory, Hermes vanishes, leaving just trails of green mist. Quite an entrance, huh?
Yeah.
Shows his power over that primordial chaos.
It really sets the stage for his immense stature and the sheer volume of works people credited him with. It's mind-boggling.
Like, how many are we talking?
Well, Iamblichus mentioned 20,000 books.
20,000?
Yeah, and Manetho apparently upped it to over 36,000.
Okay, that can't be one person.
Right. It strongly suggests Hermes was more like a whole tradition, a collective body of knowledge, maybe spanning generations.
Makes sense. And the subjects covered.
Oh, everything. Medicine, chemistry, law, art, astrology, music, rhetoric, magic, philosophy, geography, math, like geometry, anatomy, oratory, you name it.
He was the source of everything learned.
Pretty much. The fount of all knowledge in that worldview.
So, if it's likely more than one person, how did this Hermes idea spread? Was it just Egypt?
Oh, no, definitely not. His influence was so huge he got identified with key figures everywhere. The Greeks had Orpheus, similar vibe.
Okay.
Francis Barrett wrote, "If God ever appeared in man, he appeared in him." Bryant suggested Cadmus, the supposed inventor of letters, was the same as the Egyptian Thoth.
Thoth, the ibis-headed god.
That's him. Often shown with the writing tablet recording souls in the judgment hall, and some scholars linked Hermes to the Jewish figure Enoch, the second messenger of God.
Wow.
And then later, the Greeks and Romans adopted him as Hermes Mercury.
Mercury, the messenger god, close to the sun.
Right, symbolizing that connection, that role as a messenger from the divine. It shows this incredible cross-cultural reverence.
And this legacy connects directly to later groups, like the Masons.
Absolutely. For Masonic scholars, Hermes is huge. He's often credited with writing their initiatory rituals, and tons of Masonic symbols are considered hermetic.
So these ancient ideas flowed directly into those esoteric traditions.
Seems that way. Even Pythagoras, the triangle guy.
Yeah.
He apparently studied mathematics with the Egyptians, learned about symbolic geometry from them, likely tapping into this hermetic stream.
It wasn't just philosophy, though. You mentioned practical
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, like the calendar.
Hmm?
He's credited with reforming it, adding those extra 5 days to make 365, a system we basically still use.
Ah, never do that.
It's why he got that title, Trismegistus, thrice greatest, greatest philosopher, greatest priest, and greatest king, all three.
Philosopher, priest, king. Got it.
And here's a little tidbit for you. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the American poet, his very last poem was an ode to Hermes.
No kidding. Longfellow. That's surprising.
It shows his reach, even into relatively modern times. And his name lives on in our language, too.
How so?
Well, you know the term hermetically sealed?
Yeah, like for jars or containers.
Right. It comes from those early alchemists. They respected Hermes so much they called their chemical writings hermetic. Sealing a glass vessel tightly by fusion was a key chemical process for them.
So hermetic originally meant related to Hermes' alchemy.
Essentially, yes. And you also see it in things like hermetic medicines from Paracelsus or hermetic Freemasonry in the Middle Ages.
Interesting. And you mentioned Christians didn't condemn him like other pagan figures.
Yeah, which is pretty remarkable. Some church fathers, like Clement of Alexandria, actually praised his intelligence. Clement apparently said Hermes would have been even greater if he'd just, been born in a more enlightened age.
High praise considering the source. It suggests his wisdom was seen as somehow universal.
Exactly. It transcended the usual pagan-Christian divide, at least for some.
Which makes the loss of most of his books even more tragic.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the great losses for philosophy. Clement of Alexandria, again, he's one of our main sources for what we know about the original books.
How many were there supposed to be?
Clement mentions 42 specific books. He describes this amazing Egyptian priestly procession where different priests carried different volumes.
What do they cover?
Everything. Hymns, rules for kings, astrology, hieroglyphics, geography, cosmography, details about the Nile, priestly equipment, justice, sacrifices, even medicine.
So a complete system of knowledge, spiritual and practical.
Totally holistic. 36 books apparently contain the whole philosophy of the Egyptians, and the other 6 were medical texts studied by specific priests.
And most of them
Yeah.
just gone.
Mostly, yeah. The burning of the Library of Alexandria is often cited as a major event. The sources we have suggest Romans and later some Christian factions might have seen eliminating this knowledge as a way to control the Egyptians.
Destroy their intellectual core.
That seems to have been the thinking, according to some interpretations. Legend says some books survived, buried out in the desert, known only to a few initiates.
Secret knowledge hidden away.
And that leads to the most mysterious one, the Book of Thoth.
Ah, yes, you mentioned that. The master key.
Right. Supposedly entrusted by Hermes to his successors. It wasn't just information. It supposedly held secret processes for the regeneration of humanity.
Regeneration. Like spiritual transformation.
Exactly. And it acted as the key to understanding his other writings. Its pages were said to be covered in strange symbols granting, well, unlimited power over spirits.
Okay. Sounds a bit like a spell book there.
On the surface, maybe. But the deeper claim was that these symbols and processes could stimulate parts of the brain, expand consciousness, allow you to perceive immortals, enter the presence of higher gods.
So it was literally called the key to immortality.
That's the claim. Immortality through heightened awareness, gnosis. They say it was kept in a golden box, guarded by the master of the mysteries.
And the tarot connection, that's
Yeah.
wild.
It is. The idea that the tarot cards, held by the gypsies, who some theorized were descended from Egyptian priests fleeing the Serapeum Temple, are actually the scattered pages of the Book of Thoth.
That's a heck of a theory.
It is. But whether it's true or not, the sources insist that secret schools still exist today, drawing inspiration, lighting their fires, so to speak, from Hermes' torch.
So while the books are lost, maybe the core teachings weren't entirely extinguished. Which brings us to the divine Pymander.
Yes, specifically the vision of Poimandres. This is considered the surviving jewel, describing how Hermes himself received divine wisdom.
How did it happen?
The story goes, Hermes was meditating, praying out in a desolate place.
Yeah.
He followed instructions to free his higher consciousness from his body.
Like an out-of-body experience?
Sort of, yeah, opening himself up to the transcendental, and then he saw it, this terrible and awe-inspiring figure.
The dragon?
The great dragon, yeah. Wings spanning the sky, light streaming from it. The text says universal life was personified as a dragon. The dragon calls Hermes by name. Hermes is terrified, naturally bows down, asks who it is.
And the answer?
I am Poimandres, the mind of the universe, the creative intelligence, and the absolute emperor of all. Some scholars, like Shore, identify Poimandres with Osiris.
The mind of the universe. Wow. So what did Poimandres reveal?
Hermes asked about the nature of the universe, the gods. Poimandres agreed and then changed. The dragon form dissolved into this incredible pulsating radiance, pure spirit.
So the dragon was just a form.
Apparently, Hermes was sort of pulled into this divine light. The material world vanished, but then this great darkness descended, swallowing the light.
Oh.
And Hermes felt himself swirling in this murky, watery substance, smoke rising, hearing these inarticulate
A
moans.
vision of chaos.
He understood it as the contrast. The light was the spiritual universe, the swirling darkness was material substance, the fundamental duality.
And creation emerges from that.
Precisely. From the darkness, a mysterious and holy word emerges, like a pillar of flame standing on the smoking waters. This word is reason, the Son of God born from the mind.
Reason as the ordering principle.
Exactly. Reason separates light from dark, establishes truth. Poimandres says, that which in you sees and hears is the word of God incarnate. The union of the word reason and the mind produces life.
Okay, so mind, word, reason, life.
Then Poimandres explains the creation process. Before the visible universe, the divine mind created a blueprint, the archetype.
A perfect model.
Right. Then, using the word like a hammer, it carved out reality, organized chaos through a second mind, the workman or master builder. This workman formed the 7 governors.
The planets, or planetary spirits.
It's more like cosmic intelligences, planetary influences that govern the material world, setting its boundaries and controlling it through destiny.
So the cosmos is set up, then comes humanity.
Yes. The Father, the Supreme Mind, fashioned a glorious universal man in its own image. Not physical yet, a heavenly man dwelling in God's light.
Like Adam Kadmon in Kabbalah.
Very similar concept, yeah. This heavenly man was loved by the mind, given power over creation. He desired to create too, so he entered the sphere of generation, the physical realm, with the Father's blessing. The 7 governors shared their powers with him.
Sounds good so far. Where does the fall happen?
Well, this heavenly man got curious. He wanted to see beyond the structure, so he stooped down and peeped through the 7 harmonies, the cosmic laws. He broke through the boundaries and saw nature stretched out below. And he saw his own reflection in the waters of nature, his own shadow, you could say.
The material reflection.
Exactly. And he fell in love with his own shadow. He desired to merge with it, descend into that material form. Nature, seeing this divine being, embraced him.
So the divine and the material mingled.
Yes, and that's why earthly humans are composite. Inside, we have the immortal, beautiful sky man. Outside, we have mortal, destructible nature, the body.
And suffering comes
From that fall. From the immortal man falling for his shadow, giving up the reality of the light to dwell in the darkness of illusion, the material world. He has divine powers within, but as a mortal being, he's subject to the cycles of fate, the influence of those 7 governors.
That's a powerful image. Trapped by loving the illusion.
And interestingly, that original immortal man was described as complete, both male and female, hermaphroditic. The separation into distinct sexes came later, by God's will.
So for us listening now, what's the path out of this illusion towards that immortality?
The core message is really direct. God's command, via Poimandres, is, let him that is endued with mind know himself to be immortal, and that the cause of death is the love of the body.
Know yourself. Stop loving the body above the spirit.
Pretty much. Those who prioritize the body, the shadow, they just keep wandering in darkness, suffering. But the one who realizes the body is just a tomb for the soul.
Rises to immortality.
That's the promise. Hermes actually asked Poimandres why punish people just for being ignorant.
Good question.
Poimandres' answer was blunt. To the ignorant, the body is supreme. They can't even conceive of the immortality within them because they're fixated on the material, which leads to death.
So ignorance isn't just lack of facts, it's a state of being focused on the wrong thing.
Exactly. The path for the righteous, then, is to learn and understand the true nature of life and light. If you do that, you pass into eternity.
And Poimandres is the guide.
He identifies himself as the mind, the eternal teacher, the redeemer. But he says he only comes to those who are already striving, the holy, good, pure, merciful. He inspires them to know everything and adore the Father.
What about everyone else?
The wicked, envious, greedy, Poimandres says he comes not to them. They're left to the consequences of their own actions, the avenging demon they create in their own souls.
So Personal choice and spiritual state are crucial.
Absolutely. It's about aligning yourself with the light.
What happens after death, according to this vision?
Well, the physical body just dissolves back into the elements, standard enough. But the real journey is for the invisible divine man, the soul.
Where does it go?
It ascends back towards the source, towards what's called the eighth sphere, beyond the planets.
How does it get there?
By ascending through the 7 rings, the spheres of those 7 governors, the planets. And here's the key part. As the soul goes up, it gives back the lower powers it took on when it descended.
Like shedding baggage.
Exactly, a purification process. To the moon, it returns the tendency to increase and diminish, that kind of flux.
Okay.
To Mercury, it gives back deceit, craftiness. To Venus, lusts and passions. To the sun, ambition.
Getting lighter as it goes.
Right. To Mars, rashness, boldness. To Jupiter, the desire for wealth, accumulation. And finally, to Saturn, at the very edge, it sheds falsehood and evil plotting.
So by the time it passes Saturn,
It's naked of all the accumulations of the 7 rings. It arrives at the 8th sphere, the realm of the fixed stars, totally purified, freed from illusion. There it dwells in light, singing praises to the Father.
and the Milky Way.
That's described as the seed ground of souls, where souls originate before descending and where they return after the ascent. A cosmic nursery, almost.
This sounds difficult. A steep climb.
Oh, the text is clear. The path to immortality is hard, and only a few find it.
What happens to those who don't make it? Who just wait?
They must return again, unconscious and unknowing, to the seed ground of stars and await a new beginning. Reincarnation, essentially, but without the accumulated wisdom,
Stuck in the cycle?
until they choose the path of wisdom. Those who are saved by this mystery become powers in God, ultimately absorbed back into the pure white light of the Father.
Wow. So Pymander has told Hermes all this and then sent him out to teach.
Yes. The final instruction was basically, go forth, be a guide to those wandering in darkness, establish my mysteries.
And did he?
Hermes responded by blessing the Father, dedicating his life to the light, and then going out to teach, to plant these seeds of wisdom. He wrote down the vision. The text says that all men desiring immortality might therein find the way.
And his final prayer, the text.
Just a beautiful praise to God the Father, the life and the light, and the eternal good. It really frames the whole thing as a spiritual revelation. And it's crucial to remember, as the sources themselves hint, this is all deeply allegorical. The hidden meaning isn't just on the surface. It's for those who undertake that inner journey, who are raised into the presence of the true mind.
So tying this all together for you listening, what does Hermes Trismegistus offer us today? It seems like this deep dive gives us a kind of ancient blueprint for self-discovery, right?
Yeah.
Understanding our place, maybe recognizing that divine spark within.
Definitely. And if you connect it to the bigger picture, the core Hermetic idea here is pretty radical. Our suffering comes from getting stuck on the material, the shadow. Transcendence means reconnecting with that inner mind of the universe. It's about purification, shedding those lower attachments tied to the planets, or our vices, if you want to think of it that way.
Which leads to a really interesting point. Free will versus destiny.
Yeah.
The vision says we get powers from the governors, but we're controlled by their rings if we love the body, if we love the shadow.
Right. It puts the onus squarely on us.
So what does that mean for the choices you make every day? How much are they shaping your own journey, your own ascent or descent? According to this ancient path, what really stands out to you about this map to immortality? Something to think about.